Hey everyone, welcome back to Warren's Everyday English. Continuing from our last video, this is the next part of the story we discussed. For a better understanding of the narrative, I suggest starting with part 1 of this episode, which you can find right here. After a while, we realized the teenagers were going to wait us out, so we decided we were just going to have to spend the night at Grandma's. That's when we started getting cocky, making monkey noises at the teenagers and whatnot. Well, at least I was making monkey noises. Rowley was kind of making owl noises, but I guess it was the same general idea. I called Mom to tell her we were going to crash at Grandma's for the night, but Mom sounded really mad on the phone. She said it was a school night and that we had to get home right that instant, so that meant we were going to have to make a run for it. I looked out the window, and this time I didn't see the truck, but I knew those guys were hiding somewhere and were just trying to draw us out. So we snuck out the back door, hopped over Grandma's fence, and ran all the way to Snake Road. I figured our chances were better there because there aren't any street lights. Snake Road is scary enough on its own without having a truckload of teenagers hunting you down. Every time we saw a car coming, we dove into the bushes. It must have taken us a half hour to go 100 yards. But, believe it or not, we made it all the way home without getting caught. Neither one of us let our guard down until we got to my driveway. But right then, there was this awful scream, and we saw a big wave of water coming towards us. Man, I forgot all about Dad, and we totally paid the price for it. When me and Rowley got inside, we laid out all our candy on the kitchen table. The only things we could salvage were a couple of mints that were wrapped in cellophane and the toothbrushes Dr. Garrison gave us. I think next Halloween I'll just stay home and mooch some Butterfingers from the bowl Mom keeps on top of the refrigerator. From here, let's take a look at the key expressions highlighted in red. And you might notice that there were also expressions highlighted in green. Those are the expressions we already covered in the previous videos. So if you would like to learn about those expressions, please check the previous Diary of a Wimpy Kid videos. So the first expression is, wait someone out. So this expression means to be patient and not take action until the other person gives up or loses interest. In the context of the story, the teenagers were waiting for Greg and Rowley to leave Grandma's house. Get cocky. To get cocky means to become overconfident, arrogant, or bold, often in a way that is not justified. In the story, Greg and possibly Rowley started behaving confidently by mocking the teenagers because they were in the safety of their grandma's house. Whatnot. Whatnot is an informal term used to refer to various unspecified or additional things. In the story, it suggests that Greg and Rowley were doing various actions, such as making noises, without specifying all of them. So let's take a look at how whatnot is used in these sentences. I went to the store and bought some groceries, cleaning supplies, and whatnot for the house. In this context, whatnot represents various household items or other things needed for the home. He's into all kinds of outdoor activities, hiking, camping, fishing, and whatnot. Whatnot is used here to indicate various similar outdoor activities. Crash at. To crash at a place means to stay there for a short period, typically overnight. In the story, Greg and Rowley wanted to spend the night at Grandma's house. Right that instant. This phrase means immediately or without any delay. Greg's mom insisted that Greg and Rowley needed to return home immediately because it was a school night. Make a run for it. To make a run for it means to attempt to escape quickly or flee from a situation, often because of danger or urgency. So Greg's mom told him that they needed to come home, and because the teenagers were still waiting outside, they needed to quickly and quietly escape from the teenagers. So they quickly snuck out the back door and took Snake Road because there weren't any streetlights. So here's some additional examples. When the alarm sounded, everyone made a run for it. The suspect attempted to make a run for it when the police arrived. Draw someone out. This is an idiomatic expression that means to attract or provoke someone to come out of hiding or cover. In the context of the story, Greg believed that the teenagers were attempting to provoke him and Rowley to come out of Grandma's house and expose themselves. All the way. The phrase all the way typically means a long or far distance. So in the passage, Greg and Rowley ran the whole way from Greg's grandma's house to his house. Let's look at some other examples. They drove all the way from New York to California. It means they drove from New York to California. As New York and California are on opposite coasts and very far apart, most people fly between these states. I read the book all the way to the last page in one sitting. So it's saying I read the entire book without pausing. Chances are better. So this is used to express that the likelihood or probability of a positive outcome or success is higher under certain conditions. It suggests that there is a better or more favorable chance of something happening or being successful compared to other circumstances. So you can say, chances are better for a successful recovery if the surgery is performed early. It implies that early surgery increases the probability of a successful recovery. So in the story, Greg believed their odds of not getting caught were greater on Snake Road due to the lack of streetlights. On its own, this phrase means something can stand alone or work by itself without needing help or support from anything else. So Greg says Snake Road is frightening all by itself, even without the teenagers pursuing him and Rowley. Hunt someone down. This means to search for and pursue someone relentlessly, often with the intention of finding and capturing them. Dive into. To dive into something means to quickly enter or hide in it, often to avoid being seen or to seek cover. Greg and Rowley quickly entered the bushes to hide or seek cover whenever a car came. Believe it or not. So this phrase is used to introduce surprising or hard to believe information. So for instance, he walked away from the car accident without a scratch, believe it or not. Believe it or not, she can speak 5 languages fluently. These examples continue to showcase how believe it or not is used to introduce surprising or remarkable information. And in the story, believe it or not is used to emphasize that Greg and Rowley successfully made it home without getting caught. Made it. So this implies that someone has accomplished something or arrived at a particular point, often despite obstacles or challenges. It can also mean that someone has successfully survived or endured a difficult situation. So Greg and Rowley successfully reached their destination, which is their home, without being caught by the teenagers. Pay the price. Pay the price for something means to experience negative consequences or face difficulties as a result of a choice, action, or mistake. It implies that there are unwanted outcomes or a cost associated with a particular decision or behavior. So Greg and Rowley faced a negative consequence, which was getting soaked with water, because they forgot about their dad's tradition of drenching people passing by their driveway on Halloween. Their forgetfulness led to this unfavorable outcome. Lay something out. When you lay something out, you arrange or display something in an organized or orderly manner. Salvage. So this means to save or recover something from a difficult or damaged situation. So Greg and Rowley could only retrieve a couple of mints and the toothbrushes. Mooch. So this implies obtaining something for free, whether it's food, favors, or other items, often by relying on the generosity of others. It suggests taking advantage of someone's kindness without providing anything in return. So Greg is jokingly suggesting that he'll stay home next Halloween and take some Butterfingers from the bowl that his mom keeps on top of the refrigerator without having to go trick-or-treating. So that covers the expressions from Diary of a Wimpy Kid. We will continue to go over additional expressions and passages from the Diary of a Wimpy Kid book in another video. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.